Okay, let's see. I'm showing audio on my little device there. So it appears. Hey, wage slave. So we've got audio and video at this time, correct? I hate electrons. Oh. Okay, Jeff says we got sound. Okay.
Now talk about mining.
Okay, then let me get in the video.
I don't even want to be on screen. I have totally had it with this nonsense. People,
I can manually scan it away from you, little one.
Good. I am totally staying out of this, people. I have had it with this nonsense. Okay.
Okay. You're going to have to monitor that so you can tell me what people are saying. Anyhow, as you can see, we've still got some glitches to work out, but this is the new area where we are going to be setting up.
Hi, John. Hi, Chris.
For the live streams and stuff. And I'd say it's a pretty good space. I'm going to see about taking this area up here and turning it into a single whiteboard, but I don't know how good of a magnification we can get as to how well that's going to work, how well we're going to be able to see the actual writing.
So yeah, we're loud. Too bad. Everybody needs to cope.
Turn your speakers down a little bit. Play around with that, but it's kind of
all y'all need to cope with it being loud or turn your own speakers down, because now that it's actually working, I ain't touching shit. I'm sorry.
We'll probably do some testing this week to find out. But anyhow, it's been another busy week of construction over here. Got the last water leak shut off this morning, as far as I know. Got some lines, put some valves on it. Right now, it is 57 degrees in the crawl space under that corner of the trailer where I have the hatch. This is a wireless, let's see if I can, wireless indoor-outdoor thermometer. So 71 in here, 57 degrees in the crawl space, so well above freezing. Not a problem at this time. 6:7. What time is it, little one?
It's 6:25.
6:25, huh? Wow, it's almost set up. Wow, I never set up the clock on this thing. But anyhow, so it took 3 rolls of insulation, 16-inch wide, to fill the holes in the insulation under the trailer where in the past pipes have broken. And I guess Eve has decided she's going to bail. So I'm going to have to go over here where I can actually read the comments. And I will move the camera. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, it could be, Chris. I'm not sure. Yeah, the internet's set up. We got real high speed here. I guess, David. Let's see. So, anyhow, see, where's that? Okay, that one's pretty bright. That one's even brighter. Don't want to, just reflect all over you people and hurt your eyes. And so, okay.
I'm going to make myself some dinner.
Go ahead, little one.
Y'all have fun.
I got
it.
I'm
on strike.
We've got about a 10 by 10 foot area in the living room still has stuff that needs to be put away. And some of that stuff needs to go. Oh, I can actually see over there. In this area here, I need to get a set of bookshelves. Okay, that's the freezer. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what I'm seeing there. Hey, Travis. John, I don't have a lot about the details on those, except I have one general principle that I always apply, and that is test first before spending. Any decent manufacturer should have a methodology, and it may cost you money, but where you can actually get a sample to them and test it. I personally prefer being there in person when they run the test. You get concentrates, you're going to get tailings. Make sure everything's clean beforehand, run it, take all your stuff with you, then you do the analysis to see how it works. There is no process that works best for everything, and so you just have to test it empirically. Now, if you know a lot about such things, is just a second here. Say if you know a lot, you can make reasonably good predictions, but even then, the unknown unknowns can easily get you. So you have to be careful about those things. Now, I would say check on that. Do you know what size gold you've got? This is a very important criterion that a lot of people don't actually measure, but which is absolutely critical to determining what your best extraction technique is. So you need to know your particle sizes, your particle shapes, how much grinding you need to do to liberate the gold from the gangue minerals. Some of these things are easy to do with some ores. Others get much more complicated, especially with different ores. So, I'll say it. Laboratory scale is the first thing. One thing that I always do, because it's real simple and I know how to do it and everything, and that's just hand pan. I can hand pan a sample and I can get down to 500 mesh without too much trouble. If I have a 2-pound sample is my standard pan size. So if I pan that, say 3 times, and go to concentrates 3 times, and I'll see a big difference each time, and then take the tailings and have it analyzed, and take the cons and have them analyzed, dry them, weigh them, have them analyzed. That gives you a pretty good idea of how likely a gravity process in general is going to work on that ore. Now, it's not an absolute guarantee, but it will tell you if that particular concept seems plausible. That's why with Montana B we went to leaching, is because when we tried gravity extractions, the tailings weren't assaying, we weren't getting good recovery as the tailings assays showed. Another hint was the fact that the assays were very consistent. Now, very consistent assays tends to mean extremely fine gold. So that's what we had. I see shadow people beside you. Anyhow, but that's kind of my general rule of thumb is do it as cheaply and as simply as possible to begin with, and then kind of go from there. She's in the back making her dinner.
I am on strike.
She's really annoyed with the electrons. Let me try something here too. I'm just trying different lighting options and stuff, just to see what works. Let me try something out of this. Do we still have the audio? I'm thinking as I could put a dimmer bulb up there to match the dim bulb underneath. Thank you, Travis. Okay, so that was just a coincidence there. So, yeah, that's a little too little light. Oh, come on. If you don't mind, I'm going to try something here. Let me just leave for just a second and go get something here. What we have are a bunch of different light bulbs that we took out and replaced, because these are all 100-watt light bulbs, which seem to be a reasonable number. I mean, 100-watt equivalents, they're like 16 watts actual use. Let me see. Come on. What in the world? Holy moly. Just thread in there? Okay. Still getting a lot of light from up there. Let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness. Because what I may do is have a couple lights we set up for the live streams. It's still kind of bright there. Let's see. And then this one here. Can't even read these things. I'm sorry to be difficult here, but when the computer's not working properly, whoa, that one's pretty bright. That one's brighter than I wanted. That's a little better, a little more gentle. I think I'll go with that for now. Soft 75 watts, huh? That would probably be a good idea with the shade on the light bulbs. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but the bulb really has to want to change. Yep. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. I got 3 different bulbs, all a little bit gentler than what those 100 watts were. And I think that's working pretty good. So I'll go with that for now. Call it good. Anyhow, I'm very pleased with the way the bathroom turned out, because that was a royal mess when I got in here. I mean, it was horrendous. The people who put the tub surround in had done the most amazing job of everything wrong possible. Put a bag over it, yeah. The tub surround on one side, they put like 1/4-inch rock board, you know, it's like hardy back or something like that, and then put the tub surround on it, but it was on top of the other wall. So you had like a 1/2-inch shelf sticking out there that was open at the top, so that any water that got up on the wall above that would just run right down behind the hardy backer. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not exactly normal. And yeah, there's just a bunch of horrible things. One side of the tub surround, one end, literally curved boundary, and the tub surround was behind the hardy backer in one spot. Oh, so I managed to get that all functional with about $100 worth of materials and quite a few days of work. But a lot of the days of work, it was a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours in a day, and then waiting for everything to cure, and then coming, you know, paint, caulk, things like that. You just can't keep going and have it work. Really, Brian, that may have something to do with the internet speed. When they installed it here, we're at 1 gigabit per second. So we've got plenty of internet here. Well, according to the guys I know that sell them, it was the oh gosh, it was a Suzuki. What is the King Quad? It was the King Quad. I think it's a Suzuki King Quad. But they said if you get the older one that doesn't have everything electronic, you know, got manual shift and stuff, it's more reliable because it's not electronic everywhere. On the other hand, if you're getting a brand new one, they really like the King Quad. Okay. Yeah, you want. I like things manual. You know, I like mechanical systems as opposed to you do this and an electronic component does that, which tells another electronic component to do something, which makes it all happen. It's like, yeah. okay.
We've seen how that works.
I'm not a fan. So, anyhow, that's kind of my general thought. Hopefully this week we should be able to get on that X-ray film. It's going to be interesting because in about a month, one of Eva's sons is visiting with his new bride that we've never seen. And we're going to be ensconced in, well, less than ideal habitation. So it'll be a little bit nerve-wracking. I would agree with that, Jean-Francois. How does it feel? The automatic technician? Crazy. That's like... Yeah. The move is complete in terms of all the stuff from over there is now here. Okay? It is not complete in terms of everything being completely sorted out and stuff. Some of that is because, like right there, you'll see that wall has a lot of no shelves. And the reason for that is we need a set of shelves. When I get the set of shelves, I can put the paperwork on the shelves. When we're talking about the actual physical location of the mill, we're about 500 feet closer. The place we used to live is 550 feet that way, according to Google Earth.
Always assuming you believe Google Earth. I have my doubts.
That's... Now, when you're talking about tailings, are you talking about material that was thrown away as rocks, or material that is the waste product after they have ground it up and done whatever extraction process they were doing? That's what technically tailings are. The other stuff is called waste rock. The two are different, and you'll need to look at them somewhat differently. If you're dealing with tailings, sometimes big tailings piles can have a lot, but some of the old ones down in Mexico are running 1/10 of an ounce to the ton, which is pretty good. Sounds good, Jean-Francois. So if it's tailings, you're almost guaranteed that the coarse gravity recoverable gold is already gone. You're probably going to be dealing with finer material or stuff that was in sulfides that have now oxidized, or you're dealing with crystal locked minerals that you'll have to regrind to get loose. If it's a waste dump, different story. You're just mining low grade material. So some of these waste dumps are pretty good. I've heard of waste dumps running up to 1 ounce to the ton in some places. Because, some of these mines around here in the late 1800s, when they mined them, to get the gold out of the rock, they literally sent it by sailing vessel to Cornwall, England. It's got to be pretty good stuff to ship it to another continent on a sailboat to get it processed. So they would throw away the rest of the stuff, and it was pretty good. Generally, your tailings dumps, no, you're not tailings, your waste dumps generally will run more in the 1/10 of an ounce to the ton thing. That's fairly common, which if you got a lot of tonnage and you've got the capital for the permitting and for the equipment expense, sure. I mean, like the King of Arizona mine, it had, what, 500,000 tons of dumps, of tailings. So it can be worth it. You just do your numbers. John, are you familiar with my mining cost estimator calculator that I've got? Because if not, it can be very helpful in figuring out whether you're in the ballpark of making money or not. Yeah. I don't know. I think that'd be a real expensive mining thing to try and haul up ore from a sunken vessel. The gold ingots would be better. Those are separate from waste rock. Well, then you could have a low-grade ore dump or just an ore dump that was stockpiled for later shipping. No, I have no idea. I've not heard of Fortitude Ranch. John? Have not heard of them at all. It would be nice to get on that X-ray film now, that's for sure. Get our parameters refined. Shouldn't be too hard. Get it set up. It is nice being able to directly monitor how cold the crawl space is, because I won't feel nervous. This temperature here is actually probably a little bit low because, let's see, let me get the whiteboard out. See how this works. As much to test it as anything else. Here's the bottom of the trailer, and here's the ground. There's a hitch down there, one of the old hitches for the trailers, laying down there. They take them off once they deliver it. And I've got an actual hatch in the room back there. There's a trap door. So I got the sensor laying right on this hitch, and that's running, say, 57 degrees right now, according to this, whereas the trailer's running 71. This is 71 degrees, and this is 57 degrees. So it's going to have to get a lot colder before we have problems. I'll be able to see when it's getting there. And that makes me feel much more comfortable. That's good, Jean-Francois. I just, I'm just a miner. If you've got good geologists, geophysicists, and stuff like that helping out, they're a lot better than me. Turn the camera a little bit toward the left side of the whiteboard. There we go. Something like that. Where should I go? There. That's not a bad setup. Okay. Some of it has been replaced by PEX, John, but definitely not all of it. there's a lot of polybutylene still in there, and getting it all changed out would be pretty difficult. So I'm going to rely on keeping it insulated, monitoring the situation, and being ready to pump heat in there. We're going to try and get a gas dryer and vent it to the crawl space. And then if it was really cold, we could just turn the dryer on continuously and kind of heat that. We could even put a fan down there. It's a pretty generous height crawl space, about 40 inches overall, the maximum height. So it's pretty easy to maneuver in. And I could put just a regular little fan blowing the exhaust from the dryer. For whatever reason, it seems to be hard to find a gas dryer in this neck of the woods used. I'm not sure why, but it should certainly be a lot more efficient than an electric dryer. I'm doing what I can. Let's see what happens if I do this. Well, I could actually do it like that, and I can read it. The eye is getting better. I have these glasses. Let's see how it works here. Let me see something. Let me try scrolling in here. I can actually read it now. Okay, we'll try this. Wow, we got 21 people watching. Thank you for hanging in there during our problems. So let me write down on my stuff, on my list. I want to get the fireplace going here. Fix doors on shed and X-ray film. And it would be nice to I understand exactly what you're saying, John. Hey, Glenn. So that's not a bad idea, but to retrofit an old trailer that way would get kind of complicated. There was one spot over there where I had to reroute some lines that they were leaking for some reason, and they put it over the top of the duct. So I literally just punched 2 holes in the side of the duct and ran it through. And I didn't try and put insulation in there to keep the air in, because it's above the fiberglass insulation layer. So again, it will help keep that area warm and keep it from freezing. By the way, we had an interesting situation in the northeast bedroom where we're staying. That's where we're living right now, or sleeping. Eva came to me. We moved in there. We slept there the night before Thanksgiving. And it was a little bit cool. We were figuring that the whole house, getting things adjusted, may take a little bit. So I had a little electric heater in there to help keep us warm. And the next day, Eva said, "Where's the register in this room?" And I said, "I don't know." She said, "Did you put the bed over top?" I said, "No, I'm sure it wasn't in the middle of the room where we put the bed." And Cologne Bachelot? I'm not sure who that is, Travis. But anyhow, so I said, I don't know. We looked up, couldn't find one. She said, I think there's hot air coming out of the floor next to the wall here. So I checked, and it looked like that's the end of the duct, and somebody had literally just kind of punched a hole between the wall and the edge of the floor, took out a little bit, and accessed the duct. So I measured things and took a buzzsaw, a vibrating multi-tool, and cut the hole through the floor, cut into the duct, folded things up, and put in a register there. And it works just fine now. But it was kind of amusing that I presume somewhere in the past somebody just put flooring right over the register opening wherever it used to be. It was also interesting when we had the gentleman over to install the internet, and we were saying, you know, we kind of think this might have had some druggies in it sometime in the past, you know, because there's like bars for doors and stuff like that. And the guy said, yeah. He's laying on the front porch. I can see 2 camera mounts and a motion sensor mount. They're much more knowledgeable about all the things that hang on these things. You know, it's like, yep, I say it was a drug house. Which probably explains why the walls are so messed up, because over the years they got punched into looking for stuff. I don't know, but it is kind of amusing. This is going to be an interesting visit from Eva's son. She's got 2 sons. They're significant different personalities. One is more conventional than the other, and he is very sure of himself. And so I don't know how he's going to react to this. And we certainly do not know how his new bride is going to react to this. It may be quite interesting. We may be quite a disappointment to her, but oh well, you are what you are. Anyhow, that could be interesting. Pretty soon, we're going to have phase 1A of the renovation complete, i.e., everything functional and safe, and ready to start improving things other places. One thing that we really need to work on is the kitchen. I didn't spend a lot of time looking in detail at things before we moved in. And Eva brought to my attention the unfortunate situation when it comes to cabinets and such. There is one drawer in the entire kitchen. There are several places where drawers are missing. There's one place where a bunch of drawers are missing. There's just a cabinet door, obviously aftermarket, not the right size, not the same design, over a thing. And then when you open it up and you look in the back, you can see the ends of 4 drawer slides. Ooh, that's an interesting concept, Jean-Francois. Strike versus dip. Brunt Compton magnetic usage underground. I don't know. I think nowadays, for certain things, a smartphone might have an app that's even better. But let me show you what I mean by strike and dip. Okay. Here is a vein. Okay. Now, right now I'm pointing it roughly southwest. So the strike if you're going on a constant elevation on this structure, you see it's thin, it's surrounded by wall rock. The strike would be southwest, northeast, southeast, northwest. Okay? That is the strike. The strike is the direction that a line at a constant elevation would point. Dip is this direction. If you were to take an object and let it go, which direction does it go? That is the dip. Wow, I managed to lose a pen. I'm sure I'll find it tomorrow. Something that skiers know, the dip is the fall line. If you do not have a hanging wall there and you let go of something, what direction is it going to take off? In skiing, that's important. It's called the fall line on a slope.
So dip would usually be expressed in degrees, like a 15-degree incline.
It'll be expressed in degrees and the direction. For example, since this is going southeast, northwest, this is going to be southwest.
Yeah.
And this is about a 45-degree dip. This is about a 70-degree dip. This is about a 15-degree dip.
Shane says in the cabinet shop.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Shane. I'm sure that the owner doesn't want to pay for it either.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we'll have to see how much he will pay for in terms of raw materials. I've got a lot of time in the winter to spend. So, degree to the horizontal, Jean-Francois. This would be 90 degrees of dip, okay? So it's 90 degrees from horizontal. And dip, by definition, is downhill. You've also got the other direction. I'm sure it has a name. I'm not sure what it is, okay? But it's off of the horizontal and the direction straight up or down the gravity maximum, so to speak. I have no idea, Wage Slave, how well that'll work. I would think that Portland cement and sand would probably be tougher than Portland cement. The cement itself has a certain amount of expansion and contraction. That's why when they make concrete, it's only about 6% cement roughly. The rock actually provides a lot of strength. I talked to a guy in Bishop, California, that said that he was able to make concrete easily at 8,000 psi and up to 12,000 psi. Really, Jean-Francois? Well, I never looked at it. The countertop is actually one of the few things in the kitchen that's not in bad shape. Not at this time, John. We've been focused on the move, etc. We'll be doing a lot of bookwork type research and records research this winter is the plan. But we don't have any, we haven't really developed anything. I didn't recover any gold last week. We've been just moving. The weather right now is in the winter's coming. It's going to slam hard in the not too distant future phase. And so are focused on winterizing the mill. And we didn't quite get that done optimally. The agitation tank, the outlet got frozen, and so I pumped out the liquid that was in it, but there's about 800 pounds of ore that was wet and frozen in the bottom. So hopefully it is able to expand up and down enough so that it doesn't damage the tank. The drain itself, I was hoping I could get into some liquid slurry, but I couldn't open the valve, so I just broke the valve off. But the piece of pipe that valve is on a threaded fitting, so I can thread that out and replace it easily in the springtime. I've done everything I could. All of my submersible pumps have been drained, except for the one in the pregnant pond, and I was unable to recover it. So it's sitting there. If it gets destroyed, well, they cost $60, something like that. Not too bad. Snow drifts. Generally, it's so dry up here that we don't have too much trouble with snow at these elevations. Okay. The snow is not too hard to deal with in general, because once it gets cold, I mean, it's going to get cold. And as such, the roads, the snow just blows off them. As cars drive by, it just blows the snow right off. And so they tend to stay clean and dry in the wintertime, which is, well, it was surprising to me, but it's amazingly consistent. For months, you hardly have any trouble at all driving. You may have, where it snows, it gets packed down a little bit, and then the snow plows come along. You may have a surface that's, thin, hard-packed snow that they've then put a little grit on or something, but it's not usually too bad. I don't have a pressure washer, but yeah, one thing we did here is the bathroom at this end of the house that we're not using, the P-traps that are in the floor structure, there's one which is to the shower and the garden tub there. Both of those I poured antifreeze into. I don't know if I'll need them, but better to be safe than sorry. Clearly in the past, there has been an issue. When we came here Thanksgiving Eve, we're planning on cooking our Thanksgiving dinner here and stuff, and so it would have been nice to have a sink, and the faucet was old and messed up. Supply lines had a couple leaks, so bought a new faucet. Supply lines did that. It's like, okay, fine. And in the process, you have to turn off the water and depressurize stuff in order to replace all that plumbing. So I had to turn the sinks on, went under there, turn off the water supply, come back up. It's doing okay, but when I went down there, as I went to turn off the water supply, I heard water cascading a little bit. I thought, wow, you can hear it flow the pipes. And I looked, and it's like, it's not running in the drain. The 1.5-inch drain that, drains the washing machine area and the kitchen sink, sometime in the past had broken at a fitting there. And so I had to quickly get the fittings and stuff to, no, it wasn't the water main, it was just the sewer line, because I was running the sink to drain the pressure. And so I went and actually that was the day before Thanksgiving Eve, because it was Thanksgiving Eve that I was replacing that fitting there, and I wanted to make sure I got it done so that we could cook Thanksgiving dinner. And it was so funny because I'd taken the tape measure and measured the pipe, and I was pretty sure it said, looked like 2.5 inches OD. Must have been parallax. I mean 2 1/4 OD. So anyhow, I went and bought all the fittings I needed in 2-inch. And when I cut the old one out and checked it against the fittings, it was 1.5 inches. So I went and went back to the hardware store and said, I mismeasured. I got the wrong size. I'm going to have to go in. And this lady there, she's an older lady that buys stuff from a lot there. She goes, nice move, Slick. It just cracked me up. I've been dealing with her for years. Anyhow, in terms of the crucipels, Brian wants to know something about the crucipels.
Okay.
Just a second here.
Crucipels are my department, not yours.
Yeah, I know. Where's my little thing? Uh, 4,045 feet is the official elevation here.
Okay, crucipels. Let me get in there for a minute and I'll talk to him about crucipels, and then I will do my business.
She is going to explicate her experience with crucipels.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get a drink of water while she does that.
Hi, Brian. I'm not sure whether this elevation's higher than we were at. Bear, what was the elevation in Tucson? Hello?
A little over 2,000.
Yeah. Elevation in Tucson's a little over 2,000. So, crucipels. My crucipels are still working beautifully. That is how I spell it. There are some things I have discovered over time. First of all, they work best if you're using dry Portland cement right out of the bag. And I use one of those glass insulators, the ones that have a little dome on them, to press the Portland cement in there really well. I discovered what works best for me is I fill them up just about level on the top. Then I press it down real well with my insulator. Then I put some more in, press it down again, and let it come over the sides, and then I smooth the sides. I do that 2 or 3 times, so I get a nice tight pack. The other things I have discovered, you don't want to store them in a place that is overly humid for a long period of time. That tends to make them very spitty. The other thing is I like to prime them, because quite frequently what will happen if they do absorb moisture is if you have not primed them with about 2 grams of lead. I take a couple of pieces of lead split shot from a fishing kit, just ordinary split shot, and melt it in there and swirl it around, just put a thin coating of lead and let it soak in just a little bit. That seems to counteract the moisture thing. Because what happens when your Portland cement picks up moisture is you'll get a lot of spitting and a lot of actual bubbling and microbeads of lead flying out when you're melting a button in there. If you prime them with a couple of pieces of split shot from the fishing kit, just a couple of grams of lead, little fishing weight, the little red box of fishing weights and gizmos you get for $3 down at the store will be all you need for forever and a day. Hi, Lauren. Woohoo! Brian, I do not use bismuth at all because bismuth will really mess up your silver assay and silver recovery. And Jean-Francois, yes, I have discovered with my crucibles the best way to deal with them is you prime them before use, and then you stick them in your furnace and let them sit in there the way you would a good bone ash cupel until they're a dull, just beginning to get cherry red. So not all the way hot enough to immediately melt lead, but just nicely heated all the way through because they have a lot of thermal mass. You want to get it hot before you use it. And then I drop the lead button in there, go through my assay, then I will remove the bead and immediately return the crucible to the hot furnace and shut the door so it will anneal and cool down slowly. Because I did discover that if they cool down rapidly, like I take one out and I stick it on the counter, you do that 3 or 4 times, it causes enough stress in your actual crucible. Sorry, folks, brain fart. It causes enough stress in your actual crucible that the top part where this is all happening will shatter. So once I started cooling them down properly and heating them up properly, I have not shattered a crucible since. And the one I've currently got, I've used my crucible 10 times. The other thing I do is because I weigh my lead button and I weigh my bead, I keep track of how much lead at most is going to be in that Portland cement. And as soon as it hits about 55 grams of lead in there, that's when I dig that shit out and put it in my little bag to be dealt with later. And then I repack. You see what I mean? Yeah, crucible versus cupel. I call it a crucible because it's made from a crucible, but it acts as a cupel. So that's the way that goes. Well, Jean-Francois, I have no idea about the outgassing shit. All I can tell you is that if you prime, well, first of all, if you don't prime them with lead, but you do let it sit in the furnace for a long time and then bring it up to temperature, you're probably not going to get much spitting when your button starts to melt. If you do prime them with lead, you're not going to get spitting at all as long as it is brought up to heat before you start to use it. I don't know whether we've got outgassing going on. I don't know whether it's pure water vapor or what, but I do know in more humid weather, you're a lot more likely to get spitting on your button when your button is cupeling.
Now, do we also find out that after each button, it's best to remove the contaminated?
I have discovered the optimal place to remove the contaminated is between 50 and 55 grams worth of potential absorbed lead.
Okay. Yeah, because if you wait too much
If you
longer,
wait
it
too
gets
much
so
longer-
deep you can't pluck it out
Yeah.
without breaking the crucible.
If you wait much longer than that, it also spreads out to the sides, and if it touches the sides, you're screwed. Okay, so that's where that goes. But basically what we do is once it has reached the point of where there could potentially be 50 grams of lead in there, I'm going to remove that little plug of spoiled Portland cement and very carefully repack it using my glass insulator. Jean-Francois, I'll accept your judgment on that since I am a goddess. I don't mess with chemistry shit, okay? New and exciting, Mr. Virtue. We're living in the redneck McMansion. The goddess is very disapproving of the state of the kitchen at this point, okay? My wa is extremely disturbed by these nasty lights in here. It's ridiculous. I am kicking myself because I missed a chance at a washer and dryer because Yo-Yo over here cannot understand the logic of this. Now, this is the logic most people employ. If you look at a sample size of N equals 50 pairs of used washer and dryer combo on Craigslist and Facebook at any given time, you might get dumb lucky and see one that's got a gas dryer. The other 49 are going to be electric. So the goddess and everyone else smart in the world, if they see a working set of washer and dryer for $100, you grab the set and then you resell the electric dryer that you ain't going to use for like $25, and you have a nice $75 washer while you're still looking for a gas dryer. Yo-Yo here did not want to do that, so I have not, if I don't see a gas dryer, I'm not going to get a washer until probably the end of time at this rate. Some people don't understand the logic of buying shit used. This is how you buy shit used. If things come like this, where you can end up, for a great price, you get 3 things, but you only need 2 of them, then you sell the 3rd one you don't need for a ridiculously low price, which builds your cred. It builds your credentials and reputation on Facebook Marketplace, first of all. And second, it gets you back some of your money, and it gets you the things you actually wanted.
Well, part of the problem was having a place to put said washer and dryer at the time.
Yeah, we got a 2,400 square foot freaking house here.
We do now. Before then, we had a 2,400 square foot construction project with floor space that was completely covered with stuff that had to be completely removed.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm saying there is no excuse now, dude. You might as well
No, there isn't now. There was then.
But anyway, the other thing, well, yeah, outlier. Of course, logic's un-American, but what can you do? But that's where we are at the moment. I am busily looking for. I haven't had the greatest luck with sewing machines. I came this close to getting a used Singer sewing machine for $10. I missed it. Somebody else had gotten to that person like literally 3 minutes before me, and I was like, bummer, So I'm still working on getting a sewing machine too. There is that.
I like that one in that cabinet that we almost got.
Brian says he's repacking the conical filter. He's got to clean his marbles. Mr. Virtue, the only thing I'm using Facebook for right now is I play one game, a solitaire game, that happens to give away a free gift every day on Facebook. And looking at the classified ads for Helena. Because here, you don't get nearly as much stuff posted on the Craigslist as you do on the Facebook. Now, down in Tucson, Craigslist was just as busy as Facebook and sometimes more busy. Up here, Craigslist moves really slowly, and Facebook has 8 different classified groups that I joined for Helena and the basic surrounding area. So I have a lot larger pool of used shit by using Facebook. Other than that, I don't use Facebook at all because I hate it. Okay? It's just ridiculous. But I am still consoling myself that I got an absolutely free refrigerator and it's fantastic, so that made me happy. And I am still consoling myself because we got a huge LG microwave, brand new in the box. No, on Facebook, Brian. I actually got a free fridge on Facebook. And I got an LG over-the-range 2 cubic foot microwave, new in the box at Goodwill for $36 freaking dollars. I was a happy camper because I was going to pay $160 for an off-brand LG Walmart one before I saw that. And I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, The goddess finds many things about this place that disturb my walk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. That is the way it is with any work, any disaster in progress. I mean, that just goes with the territory of moving into what was probably a crack house. I can tell you this: they did not cook meth in this house. That I know. But this was definitely a drug dealer house. Absolutely. And I see no indications that they were growing weed in this house. So I'm assuming just dealing your ordinary drugs. But they weren't cooking anything and they weren't growing weed, which is a good thing. So I'm a happy camper about that. I really am. You know, other than that, I have an appointment with the specialist in a couple of weeks over in Billings. So I may actually be getting my surgery. Oh man, Brian, I wish I could find what I'm looking for on Facebook right now is cinder block. For some reason, our particular Facebook classified groups and marketplace, almost no construction supplies. I do see them on Craigslist now and then. Jean-Francois, Facebook once threw me in Facebook jail for 7 days and labeled a video from C-SPAN. C-SPAN is the Congress cable channel that shows the live congressional hearings and Senate hearings, okay? Facebook labeled the C-SPAN video feed fake news and threw me in jail, Facebook jail, for 7 days for misinformation. That says something. You know. Yeah. I mean, I did not use Facebook at all from 2016 when that business happened with the C-SPAN. I did not use Facebook at all from like 2017 all the way to 2023. The only reason I'm using it now is for the one game and, you know. Oh. Mount Baker's got a video up. And Gruber Ned, I love Gruber Ned. I mean, we watch Gruber Ned a lot. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm on Facebook now is for the free gift in my solitaire game and so I can get stuff off classified. Other than that, I don't post anything. I don't talk to anybody. I don't have the messenger on my phone or on my tablet. I'm not going to use them. That's all there is to it. All I want is the marketplace, you know. Well, the funny thing about it is, Jean-Francois, I did all that stuff in like 2017 when all this happened with them claiming C-SPAN was false information and stuff. I did all that. I wiped everything. I went through all the steps they told me to do to make my account totally disappear. And in 2023, when I decided to make a new one just because I was going to be playing my solitaire game again and I wanted to join a team and get the free gift, I went to make a new one and they said, oh, you already have an account. It's archived. Do you want to unarchive it? And I'm like, really now? And the tinfoil hat is still packed. The tinfoil hat needs to be repaired. It has worked so much overtime trying to keep out the government mind rays that it's in bad shape. It needs to be, it's in bad shape. Look at this. The ears are not even present, okay? So that's where we are at the moment in that. But yeah, at the moment, I have an ever-growing list of things that I want to get free, cheap, used, or elsewise. I have an ever-growing list of projects that need to happen. I now have a deadline for some of them because son is coming, and he's turning out more and more like his father every single year. It's very depressing, really, it is. And I have a list of things to do, and I have a surgery appointment. And yes, technically it's aluminum, okay? Outlier, if I could find a source for vintage tin foil, as in not aluminum, but vintage tin foil that was not ridiculously expensive, then it would indeed be covered with tin foil. Meanwhile, it's aluminum. It still keeps out the government mind rays. And the brass deflector bow still works really well. And it still will intimidate bureaucrats, which is what it's for. So there. Yeah, Jean-Francois, this stuff is very, very expensive. Ridiculous. But anyway, I'll let him come back on. Bye, guys.
Oh. So, Brian says thank you. So, that's basically where we're at here. We, great pig. Pick. Okay. That's basically what we're here. Again, we're kind of towards the end of phase 1A, getting this end of the house livable. And phase 1B is getting that end of the house livable. And that's going to take, I forgot to bring the Christmas tree, little one.
Oh.
It's over at the shop there.
Well, we still have to get a stand, one of the kind that holds water, which means going to Goodwill tomorrow.
I understand, but somebody went and lost the pen because of a demonstration here. So let me get this Christmas tree. Come on. My goodness, can we? There we go. Yeah. The claim owner cut down a couple of Christmas trees for his family and stuff, and says, there's one extra, so when everyone's picked theirs, if you want the last one, you can have it. So cool. And there's that, and that's about it. So I should have plenty of time for the x-ray stuff. Okay, I got it listed here. Test this week. The person who owns the trailer here wants to take a little break from buying materials. So there's only going to be so much I can do, which is fine. And that's our basic situation right now. Anyhow, does anyone have any more questions? Any news on Ryan's mine and ore? Right now, my brain is trying to remember which Ryan. Ryan, who owns a mine? Who's that? Little one.
There was a Ryan down in Arizona. That's the only one I know of.
Is that the one? Yeah, Arizona 4 years ago. No, have not. We just kind of went our separate ways. And it's way too far away to try and deal with. And I want to stay away from that border right now. I want to stay away from that city. It's the whole situation is really in a lot of flux at the moment. A lot of people are like, yeah, Trump will be in a couple of months. And it's like, I don't know. They're going to do everything they can to keep him from getting in. So we shall see what we shall see. Once he's in, once a lot of his picks have been confirmed, then I'll start breathing a sigh of relief. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's still pretty indeterminate out there right now. So it's nice to have something to stay busy with. Get up in the morning and just work at home. I'll probably be heading over to Lauren's in the mornings again here real soon. He's got lots of work to do. He always has lots of work to do. But should be able to stay busy and learn some new stuff and do something productive for a friend there. Right now, I just need a set of bookshelves. If we don't find any real quick, probably just go down to Walmart and buy 2 sets for $36 each or whatever. And then I can finish off that end. And I ordered about half of the stuff on that living room floor. Well, let's see, there's tools over there. There's Eva's crystals over there. And the stuff out in the middle of the living room floor, somewhere around half of it is for the office. There's books, publications, there's information and stuff, and I need to have a place big enough to organize it. Hey Jeff, how's it going? So I can't wait forever for a fortuitous bookcase. Luckily, they're not horribly expensive. And yeah, say there's not a whole lot of urgency at this point. Again, gotta get that living room knocked down, get the X-ray film thing taken care of, because that might be something too, little one. If we can get a good deal on the X-ray film thing, we might be pretty busy.
Well, I'm still looking at the idea of buying one of those spreaders over at the thrift shop.
The furnace is going to be outside.
Yeah.
And depending upon exactly how we set it up, we've either got a covered porch we could put it on, or there's a shed out there. No, I haven't, Jeff. Interesting thought. Interesting, Jeff. That was over at Lauren's, and there was that drum, and then there's an exhaust fan that's sucking air into that. That's not mine. That's Lauren's, but we'll figure that out sometime here in the future. Right now, we're not really using it very much, although we do have. Any idea? I think we only had just those 2 partially loaded cartridges.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Well, you pulled the other ones out and brought them home from when we took everything apart out there the other day. But yeah, it's not like we have anything else to process.
Yeah. So we've only got 2 partially loaded cartridges to strip. We haven't been needing it right now. What we use the centrifuge for is solution samples to get the sediment out of them. And right now there are no solution samples because the solution is ice. So we don't need to worry about that until March, April, somewhere in that general vicinity. So that's, yeah. We've got the bottle roll here. We have the stripping circuit here. We've got that X-ray film to do here. And so we got a bunch of stuff. I'm probably going to wind up having to get a fairly conventional type job this winter. We're going to have to see. Well, the problem is, Jeff, I'm doing it mainly visually. In order to get an actual weight, you'd have to. Yeah, I can understand that, Brian. You'd have to get a pretty good purity. You're going to have a real contamination issue doing a weight. You could smelt it down, but I find I have pretty good ability to guesstimate visually. And it fulfills my needs. It's not a precision method, period, but it gives me good guidance as to what's worth assaying, what's worth processing, and stuff like that. So that's why I, use it. And there's times, I mean, my detection limit is, 2 or 3 specks in a pan is about 0.01 ounces per ton. I don't know how much that weighs, but it's really, really small. But anyhow, week from tomorrow, I think. Week from Wednesday. Eva's going to Billings to see the specialist, and then we'll have a good idea what's going to happen with her physically. She needs surgery, but it's not time sensitive sort of stuff. It's not like cancer or something like that. Okay. You take care, Jean-Francois. Thank you for showing up. But it is going to be moderately debilitating for a while, at least. And so exactly what's going to happen there depends. If the surgery is not going to be until March or April, she may get a job for a few months too. But we need to be careful, because right now we're poor enough that her medical bills are paid for. And if we were to get too much income, that would go bye-bye.
So the job is going to have insurance.
Yep. Even then, there's usually a time delay and stuff. I don't think, I think we're quite limited this winter in what we can do work-wise, unless you can get your surgery out of the way real quick. If they can say, yeah, we can do it in January, then it's like, okay. So by February, you should be good enough that I can go to work without a problem.
Oh, you'll be able to go to work without a problem anyway, dude.
Well, we'll see what condition you're in. But then from there, as she gets better, she can start doing conventional work. And we need to do a lot of research this winter, and that's something that she can definitely do while she's laid up. So we shall see what we shall see. But that's about the plan, and of course, monitoring the situation and going from there. We're in uncharted territory, absolutely. That makes it predictability rather challenging. But we shall see what we shall see. And until you got a good idea what the change of weather is, you just keep sailing the best you can and don't worry about it. When it changes, you adapt. So that's the situation there. But yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to be going back and spending a lot of time with Lauren for a few months here. We shall see. They might find some. They're building a commercial structure right there, literally 150 feet from where I'm at. So I might be able to get some part-time work there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. In the immortal words of Gunny Highway, exactly, honey. So that's basically where we're at. Right now, the priority is getting the penthouse cleaned up and ready to rent. And then time pressure's pretty much slacking off a lot. We'll go from there. Oh, and I've got to put up plastic under trailer. Yeah, I got stuff insulated, but I need to put the plastic barrier in place. That'll take me another hour or two, considering all the areas I got to cover. Oh, jeez. That's pretty wild. Any other questions, subjects, suggestions, or anything like that at this point? I apologize for the problems trying to figure out how to get this thing running today. Still have no idea why it's working now and didn't before. But we'll have some more time to troubleshoot before next Monday. Do not be surprised if you see a test live stream out there. You know?
If you do, log on and give us feedback, but please give constant feedback in the chat because I will be monitoring it if we do that.
Yeah. Anyhow, so we shall see what we shall see. Say, anyone else got anything to put in right now? Get ready, honey bunny. I think it's about time. Let's see what happens here. Oh. Yeah, I guess go ahead and post, honey bunny. So, thank you, Brian. I say, if you got any questions, anything I can help you with, Brian, let me know. And we can see what we can come up with. Until then, happy prospecting and keep it safe out there. Hey, Patrick. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
Patrick Jobling showed up in there.
Oh, good. All righty. Let's see. End stream. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable, Mr. Virtue. Thank you.